In the summer of 2018, I was called a terrorist. 4 words were uttered toward me: "You are a terrorist." And honestly, as a privileged Israeli girl living in London, those were the last 4 words I ever expected anyone to use to describe me. What crime did I commit to earn such a description? And when I learned it was my Israeli nationality that gave me the offense, rather than any personal action, I felt the hope physically leave my body. I'd grown up my whole life in an Israeli community. Till the age of 5, I spoke only Hebrew, and even as I've attended the American school in London, being Israeli has always been one of the most important parts of my identity, and I had no idea that anyone could denounce my identity so quickly. My frequent visits to Israel not only taught me about my heritage, but I began to learn of the conflict in my home, from the intifadas to the war in 2014 called Tzuk Eitan, a war between Hamas in Gaza and Israel, where I lived the conflict. The summer spent listening to bomb alarms. I remember driving down the highway with my mom, listening to the radio. 1 minute, and then the next, I found myself on the ground, crouching, hands protectively above my head, watching the Iron Dome collide with the missile. And as I sat there, I witnessed at least 50 other people doing the same. And I wondered, what about the people of the other side? Are they sitting on the asphalt like me? Are they hiding in bomb shelters like me? Are they scared like me? I remember another time, jumping in and out of taxis with my cousin looking for shelter. Her face tears, and honestly, so is mine. That night, I texted a friend. I told her I was scared. I mean, the thought of not returning to London had crossed my mind a few times that summer, but this was a vulnerability that frightened me to admit because it made the war all the more real. And I was scared. I was. And I didn't realize that in a few weeks I would be returning to a normal life back in London. But even up to today, when I hear an ambulance from far away or a car driving speedily into the distance, I can feel my anxiousness, my heart beating a mile a minute before I'm reminded nothing happened. I'm here. I continue to feed my curiosity about the conflict and my home through books, experience, but I never understood the other side. My view was always sheltered. And the first time I ever met a Palestinian living in Palestine was through Seeds of Peace. Seeds is an organization that brings together teens from conflicting countries to have dialogue and get to talk to their so-called other side. Dialogue, a process of which you sit in a circle, either facing or sitting next to the other side, completely vulnerable, with the opportunity to say anything from opinions to profanity. I argued for my existence, my nationality, my identity, and the other side. They did the same. Sometimes we listened, sometimes we didn't, other times chairs were thrown. True story. And after many harsh, shocking, complicated dialogue experiences, I left Seeds feeling that hope was an unanswered question. I struggled with the idea that the conflict in my home would end. Nevertheless, the countless other world conflicts constantly occurring around me, such as the Yemen war, the South Sudanese civil war, the Syrian war, the refugee crisis, climate change, the list goes on and on and on. Sometimes it feels that just looking at the news shrinks our hope so fast we don't even know if it's there to begin. The constant notifications, at times it feels that our generation has become desensitized. We tend to feel hopeless because we feel that no one listens to our voice, that political leaders disregard our voice completely. But we cannot let our generation live in a time of hopelessness. We have to change this. Because hope is a driving force for change. It provides people with the inspiration and the power that they are capable of making a difference. And the times, they are changing. With activism on the rise, more young people deserve to feel empowered that they make a difference, that your own individuality and your willingness to speak up makes a difference, because you have the power to create a world-changing platform. On my quest for hope, I encountered a story. A cathedral in the ancient or medieval times took decades, maybe even centuries to build. Each brick placed one by one by one. And although the process is tedious and slow, each brick has a role in creating stunning, breathtaking cathedrals. each brick a symbol for hope of a better future. A few months ago, I posted on my Instagram a photo of my first Israeli military draft. Now you have to understand that the Israeli Defense Forces are an integral part of the Israeli community. My parents went, my grandparents went, and whether I choose to go or not, this was a statement I felt proud to share because of my background. For a Palestinian, however, the IDF means the people at the checkpoint. It doesn't necessarily mean someone who might believe in both a future for Israel and Palestine, but it means someone in a collective. And a Palestinian friend contacted me soon after. She asked me what it was, and I panicked. I didn't think of the complex implications the conflict had for both of us, rather only of my pride of receiving this letter. I explained to her thoroughly the situation, why I felt proud, and I awaited her response of anger, only to receive a good luck and a smiley face. Now, from being called a terrorist a few months prior by a Palestinian to this, all of a sudden I realized a cathedral was being built, and I wasn't even aware that I'd become a part of cultivating some sort of peace, even if it consisted of the smallest steps. I realized how important the conversations we usually avoid having are, that they are fundamental to creating these bricks of hope. I haven't decided yet if I believe in peace for the Middle East, but what I do know is that I can use my voice. I can use my voice in making progress, in beginning a process. Now, I'm not here today to ask you to find some profound meaning of hope, because truthfully, I haven't, and you shouldn't need to. Because your actions, that is what is going to define hope for the future. How you use your voice and become an advocate for change, that is spreading hope. Thank you.